They found a way to avoid it again. And I'll tell you what, I bet the house on it, this young man beats Naoya Inoue. And I'll tell you something else, I bet you they never fight him. You log this. This man will beat Naoya Inoue.
No, listen, I definitely got that one wrong. And Inoue, we know he's a quality fighter, but I have to give him props. You know, great performance and... definitely sits in that top 5 pound for pound.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. So obviously we recently had the fight between Naoya Inoue and MJ Akhmadaliev. A fight where the promoter Eddie Hearn had a lot to say. Eddie Hearn, went quiet for a while. I was actually surprised that he didn't go out there, to Japan. It was a fight that he talked about a lot. And he wasn't really involved in Canelo Alvarez against Terence Crawford. So very surprised that he actually didn't go to that show in Japan. MJ Akhmadaliev obviously got beat quite convincingly. I actually thought it was a very poor performance from MJ Akhmadaliev. Had a lot to say before the fight. Came to fight night and he didn't really do anything. Stood in front of Inoue and, didn't really let his hands go much. Wasn't very aggressive. Yeah, sure, he had a couple moments here and there where he landed that, right hook. But other than that, I felt like it was a pretty straightforward, victory for Naoya Inoue. Obviously, Eddie Hearn has finally, come out and said what he thought about the fight, and where he sees Naoya Inoue. Look, this is really my issue with Eddie Hearn again. Eddie Hearn saying that Inoue, is clearly, he's a top 5 pound for pound fighter. Why did Eddie Hearn say top 5? Is there one person that watches boxing on planet Earth that thinks Naoya Inoue is top 5? At worst, he's in the top 3. So again, I don't know why Eddie Hearn even felt the need to say that. Obviously, he's mentioning the fact that Inoue's top 5 probably because Eddie Hearn has got Dimitri Bivol. That's probably why he said top 5 with Naoya Inoue. But Dimitri Bivol is not ahead of Naoya Inoue. Okay, he's not, and he never ever will be, in my opinion. I think Dimitri Bivol is a decent fighter, but let's be honest here. He beat Canelo Alvarez, who had absolutely no business at 175 pounds. This is a Canelo Alvarez who is, a great fighter, a legend of the sport, but I think he just recently showed you can outbox him, so there are ways to beat Canelo. And Dimitri Bivol beat Artur Beterbiev, a 40-year-old Artur Beterbiev, in which I felt like there was no way that Bivol won that fight, in my opinion. So Eddie Hearn, I think he needs to, again, really look at himself here. I think he's been very disrespectful to Naoya Inoue pretty much for no reason. Your boy had his chance in that fight and he didn't really do anything. I was not impressed with MJ Akhmadaliev at all. To me, he looked quite basic. I feel like he does have power. I do think he has a decent chin. But he just got outboxed for 12 rounds. So Eddie Hearn recently, I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's just gone way over the top. But make no mistake, like I said, Inoue at worst is top 3 pound for pound. I think at this moment in time right now, we've pretty much got a 3-headed monster with Naoya Inoue, Alexander Usyk, and Terence Crawford. This is the first time I can remember actually where you can't even split these 3. I think when you look at Naoya Inoue, you're looking at someone that's obviously undefeated, but you're looking at activity. Okay, he's going to have 4 fights this year. We'll be looking to fight against Picasso end of the year, and then next year he'll fight Nakatani, who is a pound for pounder. Okay, Nakatani is top 7, top 8 pound for pound. So if Naoya Inoue wins that fight, and I think that he will win it, because that performance from Naoya Inoue showed to me that he can fight a disciplined fight for 12 rounds. I think if he fights Nakatani and beats Nakatani, then I think there's no question that he's number 1. I think Terence Crawford moving up 2 weight classes to beat Canelo, who is a pound for pounder. I think it's very hard to argue against that. And when it comes to pound for pound, look at what Usyk's doing against, much bigger guys. So I think you're looking at 3 phenomenal fighters. I think you're looking at 3 all-time greats. All of them will be going in the Hall of Fame. First ballot Hall of Fame is not even a question. But those are my thoughts, obviously, on Eddie Hearn and, what MJ Akhmadaliev, had to say. Again, not really a big fan of MJ Akhmadaliev because I felt like he chose to, go the disrespectful route. I don't think that he needed to do that. He's talking about ducking as well. Eddie Hearn, it's funny to me how much of a contradiction Eddie Hearn is. You're saying that Naoya Inoue ducked and swerved MJ Akhmadaliev. Did Dimitri Bivol swerve David Benavidez when he gave up his WBC belt 1 week after winning it? I mean, so, you know, no one questions Eddie Hearn on these things. Dimitri Bivol does not want to fight David Benavidez. If you think Dimitri Bivol is that good, what he needs to do, he needs to fight, you know, a fighter in their prime. Fight David Benavidez in his prime, and in my opinion, if he was to fight David Benavidez, he'd get probably knocked out. Those are my thoughts, as always. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think as well. Am I being a little bit too harsh on Eddie Hearn on this one, or, you know, has this guy really had it, you know, has this guy had it coming for a long time?